All right, I'm gonna do my impersonation of Poppy reading lyrics.
Okay.
All right. If you're feeling like a pimp, go and brush your shoulders off. Ladies is pimps too. Go and brush your shoulders off. It's crazy, baby. Don't forget that boy told you get that dirt off your shoulder. I probably owe it to y'all. Proud to be locked by the force. Trying to hustle some things. That goes with the Porsche. Feeling no remorse. Feeling like my hand was forced. Middle finger to the Lord. Gripping my...
Oh, no.
That's enough of that.
That was a good impersonation. Shout out to Poppy. Your Opinion Stinks opens the conversation on a hot button business topic.
And flips it on its head.
Hosted by a wellness coach
And a business coach.
we break down conventional business
While building entrepreneurs up for success. Who will you agree with?
Welcome to Your Opinion Stinks. Oh, was that too loud?
No, you're fine. That just caught me off guard a little bit. Continue.
Guess what? I'm Tanisha.
I'm Tim, and as always, thank you guys for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, hit that alert button so that way you can get all the goodness when it comes out. And if you're on iTunes or anywhere you listen to podcasts, subscribe so it can go directly to your device. Auto download it. Yeah, make sure you get it because it's all,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all hip hoppy today.
Yep. There it is. Cash register. Yeah.
Get that money.
Yeah.
So,
Sometimes I just feel like my father. I hate to be bothered by all of this nonsense. It's consonant.
that's not Jay-Z.
No, it's not. It's Eminem. But they have a relationship.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's nice.
One
What
of the
kind
best
of relationship?
One of the best video games I've ever owned. I still own it. DJ Hero. They had their own exclusive thing, and I have it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
You might have heard that Jay-Z is now officially, in air quotes maybe, like according to Forbes magazine, which...
Hopefully I'll be writing for Forbes. So everything I say will be official.
Yeah.
Actually.
They believe him to be the first hip hop artist to be a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
The billionaires and millionaires. Because, okay, here's the title of the article. Artist icon billionaire. How Jay-Z created his $1 billion fortune. And the subtext of a title like that is, and how you can too.
I'm going to preface something real quick. It's something that I kind of learned as being a part of the media.
Yeah.
Like, the magazines now are really, really focused on clickbait.
Yeah, that's...
They typically are starting to shy away from certain types of articles, and mostly going into the you can do it too type articles. It's kind of disheartening, which is actually something that we're going to kind of touch on with today's show. So
because that is the subtext. Because any how to is a powerful, like, we use that in our titles. We mean it. It's not I'm not creating clickbaity titles.
How to create a clickbaity title so you can get more views on your videos and more listens on your downloads.
Yeah, we're not doing that. How do I phrase this? It is not uncommon for us entrepreneurs to be inundated with and regularly consume articles and online interviews and television interviews, etc.
TV shows
all about how this celebrity did it.
And how you can too.
How you can too.
Yeah.
As though you will get a step-by-step procedure just by watching. And so I think it could be helpful for us to talk about the traps, so maybe some of the traps of being too swept up in that kind of media.
Okay.
Storytelling.
Yeah. Well, we'll just go with stories.
stories.
Simplify it. So I'm going to start off like this. First off, Jay-Z, you put in your work. Congratulations.
Yes. Congratulations. That is awesome. That, no doubt. I don't want this episode to diminish that, because that's quite an accomplishment that he worked hard for, and by doing a lot like business moves.
Yeah. The whole thing of Jay-Z for me is he's one of those people that I kind of look up to, not in the sense of a hero, but more so an example. Like,
I like that.
I didn't follow Jay-Z in the beginning because I'll be honest, I was a Jay-Z hater in the beginning parts. I didn't follow him from Reasonable Doubt. But when Hard Knock Life hit, yeah, I was on your boy. So I say all that to say this. The thing that's missing in some of these stories that are released is what I like to call the gray area. And I talked about this when we were kind of setting up for the show. Mostly everything we consume is either the furthest extreme away or the furthest extreme to. And the middle parts are mostly what's left out, because, I mean, you never really have enough time to tell every single detail in a 300 to 500 word article or a 3-minute segment.
It's like the title. How Jay-Z earned $2,700 doing something that you might be able to do, but who knows?
You might not have the team for it, but I will tell you anyway.
That's not a very sexy title.
So it's a really slippery slope when we come up on anything that we consume that quickly gives you the impression that whatever this person did, you definitely have the chops to pull it off the same. And I have to be completely honest. I mean, in my industry, that's a hallmark for a lot of things that we do, where we sell the sizzle. And, you know, sometimes the whole process of making the steak is incredibly difficult. But when you have the ability to put yourself in the picture of the story, then the excitement is what kind of carries you. But in this particular story with Jay-Z, again, congratulations, Jay-Z. We have something we haven't had for most people that come from what we would typically call nothing and build themselves up over time to be uber successful. We have a recorded history with Jay-Z.
Yes.
And this is where we have the distinction. It is dangerous for anyone to just go right to the end and see the outcome and then, you know, feel like they have empowerment and consistently bombard themselves with constant messaging that just keeps throwing them at, if you spend these dollars, you get this reward, and you don't have to put in the work. Or this person put in the work and this is the success. Read this whole thing about how they did it, and then now you have a roadmap.
Yeah.
It's never been that simple. Like, the example of Jay-Z is he sold drugs. Then he went into records talking about him selling drugs. And then he sold more records talking about the life that he built up from selling drugs into the life that he has. And then he made more records talking about his life after all that other stuff. And then he started to really see business principles where it was more than music, even though we had the recorded history with music. Where most people aren't going to pay attention is the journey. And they may not seek it out. And I think that's a dangerous part.
Yeah. You see that, because that's the exciting part. He was a drug dealer. He was poor. Now he's rich, and he doesn't have to sell drugs anymore.
And he's with Beyonce.
And he's with Beyonce.
What,
he's
3
got
kids?
the little babies. 3 kids? 4 kids? 3 kids. I don't know.
I think it's Blue Ivy and then the twins.
I think so.
I don't know. This isn't a gossip show,
Don't
so
be
we're
don't be
not
mad at
investigative
us,
reporters. on people's babies or anything like that, except for Kanye's babies. I mean, I follow Kanye's babies. No, I don't. I don't follow Kanye's
Yeah, you
babies.
totally follow Kanye's babies.
Yeah, Psalm. I'm waiting for Psalm to drop his release, and him and DJ Khaled's son Hassan.
Oh.
Is his name?
I think so.
Yeah, he's the father of Hassan.
But yeah.
Yeah. I follow all their babies. They're all dropping
All
hot
the
fire.
hip hop artists' babies. He's about.
When they're dropping in their diapers, they're dropping hot fire. So I follow it all. Nah, I don't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
People having babies.
So, I think that's a really good point because you don't see, like you said.
Oh, sorry. All right, go ahead.
Yes, okay, baby crying. So, yeah, that's a really good point because you don't see the gray.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see, like, yes, we feel like we know Jay-Z because he's so transparent.
we kind of grown through him, through his music,
but
and his public persona.
We also don't know Jay-Z.
Exactly. I don't know how bro can grow so much hair, and I have so much trouble. And I know he's older than me. I know the bigger difference between both of us.
He's probably got the same thing Daniel Tosh uses,
Who knows? All I know is that there's not enough zeros on my checks yet to get Jay-Z hair.
To get Jay-Z hair goals. That's really what you took from this article. Like, look at his hair.
No, I was looking at. I see what a million can do. Yeah.
But yeah, so you don't. I think maybe the most powerful thing to take away from this article is not, hey, this is how he did it and you can too. It's, hey, one of the things he did was he consumed a lot of information from people who were doing the things he wanted to do.
He put himself in the rooms. He definitely hired a good bit of advisors over the time. There's many people we've seen him associate himself with, so he could pull that,
learn and absorb that knowledge.
He was consistently
building
by learning.
Not that you have to have lunch with Warren Buffett to be successful like he did.
Man, I think he learned stuff from Bill Gates, because I think I've seen pictures of them together, which is kind of weird, but it's not weird because it's Jay-Z.
I'm sure there are plenty of people we don't know the names of, and
we may never know,
and they never know unless we start rolling in those circles.
If you really want to analyze Jay-Z and see how he became a billionaire, pay attention to all the things he did leading up to it, i.e., he became an author. He already had an audience, but he became an author and went on Oprah promoting Decoded. I bought this book. I've never opened it.
But you got it.
But I have it. It's out of print. You can't find it in hardcover anymore.
Ooh.
So I got something.
You got it.
He went into perfume with Rockefeller. He did clothing with Rockefeller.
Live Nation.
I was getting to that. That was the one that put him over the top. All I know is and the Brooklyn Nets was a big deal too. The whole thing is he followed where there were pockets of money and did multiple streams of income in order to assess his fortunes and accelerate a lot of his growth. And while we hear it all the time, that's what he did. He didn't do anything different. He just had more access to do it faster.
Here's something we don't usually hear about that I think is a lot of the times the missing piece for these rags to riches stories. We don't hear about the emotions, the mental health struggles that sometimes we hear later, like, oh, and I was dealing with addiction the whole time. Like, what? Or just the anxiety issues or the stage fright issues, like Barbara Streisand, or you don't hear a lot about that behind closed doors journey, like where you
It depends on who it is.
only the people closest to you know about it. Like there are artists and celebrities who share parts of that.
Taylor Swift is
But
really big on trying to share her inner world, which,
Right.
but still not a learning lesson type thing. It's just
Even
more
the
of a comment thing.
celebrities who do that, I don't think we should then feel like we know them. Like, oh, now I know exactly how because she told me how she built her fortune, and she tells me what she's feeling all the time on Twitter, and I know her.
And she's showing me what she eats.
Yeah, so now I can be her.
And I need to wear goop.
And make, that's a different person.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
And now I can make that life mine instead of living my best life.
I have a little bit of angst with what you just said, just a tad.
Okay.
Like, I agree with you that sometimes we are completely unaware, we're completely oblivious of just the secondary life, the things that isn't shown on the camera.
Yeah.
Though sometimes we actually get to know more because of what they show on the camera, i.e. Kanye.
Okay.
So I think I have a really good understanding of who Kanye is.
So do I, but we don't.
I don't know.
We don't know Kanye.
See, I feel that artists that can show their most extreme side are being the truest to who they are. We might not see all the levels.
No.
I'm not saying that there isn't a second, third, or fourth, or even fifth person that we will never see. That everyone has complexities.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that there's some people that we have such a good sense of who they are that we know who they are. Like Jay-Z, no one really knows Jay-Z. Jay-Z does a great job of keeping a lot of his life out of the public.
Yeah.
And even the things he does in public, he is so intentional.
Yeah.
So in that vein, I'm like, yeah, we probably will never really get to know him on an intimate level unless we're intimately involved with the person.
Right.
Which does open up the whole thing of we might never really know how truly they built what they built.
Right.
That I can agree with. I still feel like he's one of those people that we can look through his history and see what he's done to build.
Yes.
Because like
there's still stuff, because there's so much of it and he was so transparent about so much. There's still plenty there to learn from.
we saw a lot of the end of things that he did. Like the book, we saw the end. We didn't know he was writing it. Mm-hmm. You can imagine what the process is for him because he's Jay-Z, that they probably bought him to get the book. And I mean, I'm going to be honest. Okay, so I didn't tell a full truth or a full lie. I have opened the book. I haven't read the book.
You started it.
It was more so I didn't really read the book because the book is mostly lyrics. Bill Maher did this for like one of his shows where he gave Jay-Z, because he was retiring.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
And he gave him a book of all of his lyrics.
That was nice.
And,
I wonder how accurate it was.
Well, I mean, you can just go on any lyric site and just
but,
get an intern to do it. That's probably what he did. He didn't do it.
Yeah, but back then that was harder to do.
I don't know. It wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't, but I remember I used to get lyrics for my stepdad because he was in a wedding band and all that, and he would pay me like, I don't know, $10 a song or $20 a song, and I'd try to, so that was during the 90s. That was the 90s. And sometimes I could find it online. Sometimes I found it online and it was wrong. But most of the time, I'd have to sit there and listen. Play. Type. Rewind. Play. Type. So he got an intern to put that together.
In any instance. The point being, we can look through the business things that Jay-Z has done. Yeah. The biggest one I want everyone to take away from, really, the thing that I think that put him over the top was Live Nation. Reason Live Nation sticks out is because it's one of the business models that we talk about like pretty much almost all the time. And it's the Netflix model. It's the lynda.com model. It's the Hulu model. It's membership.
It is? And that was just tickets.
No. I'm sorry. It wasn't Live Nation. No, Tidal.
Oh, Tidal.
Tidal. That's the one that put them over the top. The whole thing of doing stuff exclusively and then owning it at the top.
Yes.
Jay had it on lock.
Yes, own. That's a lesson he's taught us. That's a lesson Kevin Hart's taught us. That's Kevin Hart, Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Taught us. Own your stuff from the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah.
You look back at even in early recorded music, no one was cutting deals like Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder, where they owned all of their publishing. They owned everything they made. And to eternity and beyond, they will always get paid when their stuff gets played. That is like, you hit it big, you become the next Prince, and you own all your stuff. Your family for generations will never see a day of work unless they want to. And that's what I think people in these articles need to pay attention to. It's like, okay, this person did something great. Let me investigate them.
Yeah.
Let me analyze them. Let me case study them and figure out the mechanics.
As
and
much
then,
as I can.
Within reason.
Yeah.
And take it from there.
And and
That
adapt it to my life and my situation.
That is the key to really being able to be successful, and reading and listening to all this material is really digging deeper into the subcontext of what's being said, what's being reported. And, you know, there's probably courseware, mentorship, coaching, many ways to fast track through to get to similar results of some of these people, like a Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we can talk about a couple other things that it's good for.
Go for
like it. Reading these types of stories. It's really good for mindset.
It's good for goal setting, and I don't even like goal setting.
Yeah. Because you look at just seeing and for inspiration.
Inspiration, I dig.
Because you see that, okay, this person did that. Wow, look at that story. Even if it has been sort of exaggerated, still, the bones of that story is still kind of inspirational. It's still kind of, look what he molded his life into. So if he did that, what's possible for me?
But keeping in mind that even if you can put yourself in that position, there's still work.
There's still work.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, the inspiration part is good. I mean, it carries a lot of people through.
And there's something to be said for maybe you come up, you read this story or someone else's, like, yes, that's the vision. That's the life I want generally. And then you start backwards engineering that.
Yeah, reverse engineer.
Thank you.
Yes.
Reverse engineering that. And so you read more stories like that, and you interview more people, and you find mentors, and
listen to podcasts where those people where those people are on the shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to podcasts and listen to your radio show like Swift Kick Show on WERA 96.7 FM.
Thanks for the plug.
But you know, listen to people and then work backwards and use that to inform your goal setting.
I want to throw this out because this was something that a mentor taught me earlier, and I do it to some extent. I'm not the best at it because most of the time it's boring for me. But if there's ever any person that you luck up on, like let's say it was Jay-Z, for the sake of this article, there may be an autobiography. There may be a biopic. Biopic? Is that what it is?
I think it's biopic, and people just say biopic. I don't know. I say biopic.
Okay. Well, whatever it's called.
Whichever.
Those are really great ways to learn fast, because you're getting such detail that's already organized about that person or that thing. Like
again, within reason, knowing that
there's still things that you may not be able to accomplish, but at least you'll know a good sense of what happened during the time.
Yeah, there may have been some creative license,
for
in
some
the
of them.
storytelling.
Yeah, for some of them, yeah. Like, there's one that I did go through, and it was, I'm blanking on the name of the book. I can see the cover clear as day, but it's a story of King Solomon, who's a figure out of the Bible. But the whole thing of the story is it was telling how he was the wisest man of his time, and what that was talking towards was the idea of who you trust your money to in order to grow yourself. One of the lessons in that was you don't, and I'm paraphrasing this, you don't trust your money for diamonds with a sheep herder, because that's not their profession. That probably could save a lot of people that listen to this show, where if you're trying to run your business and you're trying to get advice from someone that, okay, let's do something modern, that runs a Facebook agency, and the day before they were doing AdWords. Yeah, they might have the education, but sometimes for some people, education isn't enough. So you do your own due diligence on that. But I say all that to say this. There's tons and tons of material in order for you to add to your education on any of these figures that end up in these publications like Forbes, Entrepreneur Inc., especially Entrepreneur Inc. these days. Yeah. But yeah, inspiration is great.
Yeah.
It just needs to have some intention of qualifying the inspiration and turning it into a game plan.
Yeah, turn it into a game plan, and don't make their success the measure of your life.
Oh, yeah, and please don't try to benchmark yourself against what they've done. There's tons of different factors in life.
And that's challenging to do, particularly when you encounter someone famous whose life you like, and they're the same age as you.
It sucks.
Or worse, younger. Or maybe just a little younger. You're like, oh man, what have I been doing with my life?
I'm not one to say how many different rappers out there. I'm like, you guys. But then I gotta think, it's a different time.
It's different.
Yeah.
I'm on my own path.
Yeah. So be the champion of your own cause and any of this information.
Living my best life.
Oh no. None of that.
All right. Let's end it there. I think that's good. What do you think?
I think it's good too.
All right.
So
take us home, Tim.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. As always, if you're on the YouTubes, don't forget to do what?
Subscribe.
And hit the alert button so that way you know when everything is coming your way. And if you're on iTunes or anywhere you listen to podcasts,
subscribe.
So that way you get,
it's like, what?
You get all the information, all the great content coming directly to you. I am Tim.
I'm Tanisha. And remember, opinions are not facts. Do your research and have fun in the fight. Bye-bye.